Welcome into the Oshner Andrews Sports Medicine Institute podcast studio here at the garage. I'm Nick Underhill. He's Brandon Thomas. Saints just lost their last game of the season to the Bucks, and now it brings about an offseason of uncertainty, and we're going to kind of have to see what they're going to do with a lot of the stuff that they got to figure out moving forward into the offseason. They got to hire coaching staff. They got to draft. They got to do a lot of different things, which brings us to the first topic presented by Shea Bear Insurance, the Earhart Agency. The top position the Saints need to target in the draft. If you are looking for a wish list of things for them to do, where are you starting with?
I would have to start at edge. I know I can choose almost any position on the roster and say, hey, let's go get this first. But I think going with edge is going to be a top priority just because who do you have there? Cam Jordan, he's on the backside. You don't know really what's going to happen there. Do you even look at him now, if you ask him, he's going to say he's an edge. But, for a good chunk of the season, Dennis Allen had him playing more inside. Then you go to Chase Young. He's probably not going to be here next year. He's stayed healthy the entire year. He's done some things to probably get him an opportunity somewhere else. Carl Granderson, he's regressed a little bit. I know we're going to get into the overall 3 up, 3 down for the season, but I don't know if I'm going out there saying, oh, yeah, Carl Granderson is my best edge player. We can go win a Super Bowl. I don't even know if that should even be in the lexicon right now. So definitely, I think going get a edge out of the draft should be a top priority.
Yeah, I think that's probably top of the list. Wide receivers up there. You could justify cornerback, offensive tackle. It's a whole lot of things right now. So I could see it going a whole lot of different directions. I definitely don't disagree with that, Joe. I think if I was prioritizing what they were going to do, I would probably start there. I got the mock draft simulator up. We're going to run through one of these real quick and just kind of see what position we can get for them going through it. Going to pick the Saints, obviously, fast speed, and our solo draft. So running the simulator here, first pick, we're going to reject all trades. I don't care what anybody's offering us on this. First pick, Travis Hunter. Cam Ward went second. Shedeur third. Abdul Carter, the edge from Penn State, went fourth. McMillan, who I absolutely love, but will probably not last until 9 for the Saints, goes 5. Williams, the edge from Georgia, 6. Revel, the cornerback from East Carolina, to the Raiders at 7, and Carolina got the Texas A&M edge. I like Mason Graham here, the Michigan defensive tackle. Yeah, he would be tough to pass up. Kind of can do a little bit of everything. You taking a running back?
No, not that early.
I would.
Genty's on the board?
Genty's on the board. I would have to consider him. Starks, the safety from Georgia, I would have to consider him here too. And Will Johnson, the cornerback from Michigan, all in consideration. Top edge, Pierce from Tennessee, Banks from Texas. I don't want Luther Burden for the Saints. He's I like him as a player. He just feels a little bit undersized. Will Campbell,
he's available.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm taking him there. I think I would probably have to go Mason Graham here. I got to play the board, I think.
I would go Mason Graham, then Will Campbell. Genty, no, I wouldn't. Small school. We saw in that bowl game that, I don't know, against bigger, more high experience talent, I don't know what that can be.
I'm not taking him over Graham, I don't think, but I mean, I would have to talk to him in Strange, sure. But I'm taking Graham. I'm taking Graham for sure. Let's run another one. Running it back again. They give us the same exact outcome here. A little different at the top. Genty went third. Cam Ward fourth. Starks, Carter, McMillan. Let's see if we can get one more difference here. But yeah, look, if you feel like a running back can do that, I mean, you just see how the league's going. Like, there aren't 300-yard games anymore passing. Yeah, they just keep doing the same thing. So yeah, but we're not going to keep doing that over and over. But yeah, I'd be open to it though. I'd be open to it to a lot of different things in this draft. The Raiders are still playing currently as we're talking. So
I'll pull up the score for that. The Raiders are winning 10-3 against the Chargers a little bit into the second quarter. So
Yeah, as we look at it right now, so they'd have the seventh pick right now, the Raiders. If they lose, if they win, I believe they go to 9, and that will push the Saints to 8. So that would be a tremendous outcome for New Orleans if it were to play out like that. But yeah, it's crazy because I think their list of needs are just so extensive. You got every position. Quarterback, like quarterback's top of the list. Like if it's available,
right.
I'm willing to take a quarterback. I think Spencer Rattler has shown some stuff. He also his
We're fresh off the game. We're fresh off the game. We don't know what kind of development he will have during this offseason, but from what we've been seeing, he can only play really kind of the Saints team as a whole. Let's not just pin it on him, but he's a part of it. The only one could have. So that has to be developed during the offseason. I mean, and maybe you bring in another quarterback to say, hey, if this cat can come and play complete games, then we'll ride with him. And that's even if Derek Carr is not here. We still don't know what's going to happen with the quarterback situation. We still don't know if they're going to go. There's a whole lot of undetermined stuff. You don't know if they're going to go an offensive minded coach. Then if they go a defensive minded coach, what kind of coordinator they're going to bring in, what system. Like you said, the league is changing running backs now, like Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry, high priced players right now. You don't want to be the Giants in the Hard Knocks offseason saying, oh, well, the Saints have already paid the running back, but we don't want this person because, it's a running back. What? No, because now you're getting clowned publicly for that.
Yeah. If he was a 4-quarter player, they have that quarterback.
Yeah.
Like if he could just carbon copy that first half on the second half, if he can do what he did in the Washington game for a whole game, the first game he started, if he does that, was that the Bucks too? The first start for him? I can't remember.
Yeah.
If he did that for a whole game, like you have your quarterback. The problem is that you can't get the 4 quarters yet. And he's young, he's going to develop. I mean, there's stuff that's exciting, but it isn't overwhelming enough to where you're like, no, like quarterbacks off to quarterbacks at the top of that list until you have an answer there. And they don't have a sure thing. Like, I think it's still a little bit incomplete. So, yeah, I think you can really go any position there, which is kind of crazy considering,
Let's roll into our next topic presented by Urban South. Early predictions for 2025, man. I mean, I know the year just changed over and it's not even an hour after the game, but let's just go ahead and do it, man. Let's go ahead and do it. They're getting that 4th place NFC South schedule. So they'll end up. I really don't know kind of what to think at this point because there are, like we said before in that last segment, so many unknowns in terms of who the coach will be and what kind of system will this be? Is this a bridge year? Is this okay, we're back in a year? Because it seems like from what we've seen with Baker Mayfield and Tampa Bay, they haven't figured out. Atlanta, they switched to Penix because the Kirk Cousins experiment wasn't going as planned. So, I mean, they went toe-to-toe with Carolina today. Who knows what Carolina is going to be? But you have Bryce Young and Michael Penix now in the division. So I don't know who the quarterback is going to be, and that's going to determine a lot of things for me going forward. But taking a look at the schedule right here, of course, you have your division guys, but then you have the Cardinals, you have the 49ers, Patriots, Jets, and the Giants. And then after that division again, Bills, Super Bowl caliber team. Got to see Caleb Williams. Got to go to see Stafford going to Miami, Geno Smith and the Seahawks, and then the Tennessee Titans, which kind of has a win right now. I don't know what the Titans can do. They're kind of in that position of in between of, oh, we don't have a quarterback and we don't know what to do going forward. So kind of what are your early thoughts for next season?
How many games do you think they can win? I mean,
realistically, I don't know why I wouldn't put them 4th in the NFC South right now.
Yeah.
In all honesty.
Yeah.
They're not, there's nothing in place to tell me that this is going to be a team that's better than that.
Yeah.
It's not sad, but it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think they could probably beat each division opponent once. So let's go 3-3 to start.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona, did they beat Arizona?
No.
3-4. Don't beat San Fran. 3-5. Yes. Might beat the Patriots. So we're at 4-5.
Mm-hmm.
They could beat the
Jets because the Jets don't know what they're going to be.
They could beat both these teams, but let's split them. The Jets and the Giants, let's split them. So that what do we have, Matt? 4-5.
Mm-hmm.
So 5-5, 5-6. lose to the Bills, 5-7. Road game against the Bears,
Second year Caleb Williams. Who knows? Who knows?
5-8. We'll go 5-8.
Okay.
Lose to the Rams, 5-9. Lose to the Dolphins, 5-10. Lose to the Seahawks, 5-11. Well, I'll give them a win over the Titans, 6-11. And they could obviously like beat the Bears to get to like 7 wins, but I think that's probably where they're at. I mean, we don't know. We don't even know who the quarterback is right now. If it's if it's Carr, I'll give him plus a win probably. If it's
Sure.
not, I mean, I'll take one away. It could go either way with the quarterbacks, but I would move on. Like I would move on. That would be and I think they have to.
Yeah.
I think you have to move on at this point from from
For
uh
sure.
from him. I think it's time to do it. I think it's
Sure.
time to do it. I think I've seen enough to move on. Like I have.
Yeah.
And I don't think Spencer's better than Carr right now, but I'm not riding with Carr. I think he keeps you competitive, and if you can't win with him, then you just draft somebody else.
You don't want to end up in the position, not saying that they're the same player, but similar position like in Tennessee when Ryan Tannehill was coming in, winning games, even took them to the playoffs at a certain point, but then the wheels fell off and you didn't know what to do, so you scrambled. You got the guy from Liberty, and he just played for Green Bay, Malik Willis,
Yeah.
and then he wasn't the answer because you pulled the plug on him too early. Now you go over to Will Levis, and now you're at a spot where you've gotten 2 quarterbacks in recent drafts and still haven't figured out that position yet. We talked about the Patriots being on the list next year. They're not going to have the same head coach, Jerome Mayo. He got fired after 1 season already, so the coaching pool for the Saints now gets harder because I mean Vrabel has history up there. He has ties up there. He used to play up there. So who knows what that is? So I don't know, man. The amount of unknowns just as a whole with not just the Saints but the league, kind of in a certain sense, it's kind of tough. But really, you don't want to be Tennessee. I think that's a great comp at this point. That you don't want to end up just keep on throwing darts at the board and continue to miss. Like you gotta have a calculated move, and if that move is moving on from Carr right now, going to Rattler, let him develop from playing just one good half to a good half and a quarter. That's a step in the right direction.
I just pulled this up because Malik Willis was 10 of 13, 136 yards today. Like what? Like it's in
Freezing cold out there too.
the Packers quarterback development, like from coach to coach as an organization, is just absolutely
Yeah.
that's absolutely insane. Yeah, but I would be ready to move on at that position. Like I'm not sold on them chasing this with Carr. But
Mhm.
the thing I'm most worried about, I think, with the Saints right now is just kind of I think it's realistic and it's a real fear that there is kind of something in their DNA where they kind of feel like, hold on with a lot of stuff. And I said it in the pregame show. They just do that. Like the goal is win the South, try to do this. Like let's not let it go. Like it's not that far away. We can win it. And like I think you just have to look at 25 as a bridge to 26 and what's going to make you better in
Right.
26 and be aiming a little bit higher. And I don't want to see them just kind of bring it all back, pack it all together, hope for the best. And like, man, like that's not good enough to me. It's not good enough. In last year, I think they felt emboldened by that thought process because you saw the Bucks get in the playoffs and win a playoff game. I hope something doesn't happen this year to where they get emboldened by it again. Like I think it's just time to like let it go.
And that
Let it
whole,
go.
and that whole the Bucks get into the playoffs and win a playoff game. That's when the Eagles were self-destructing. So they got in there and caught an Eagles team that was completely just tail spinning, and you caught them lacking, and you were able
Yeah.
to get that. But then when they played an actual playoff team,
Yeah.
they got the hammer. So
I mean,
it's
but
like,
the NFC does suck. Like, so they
very much so true.
like so
Very much
it
so true.
emboldens them into that thinking of let's just try to win the division. And I think for a minute it made sense, but it's just I've watched it too many times now, and it's just
Right.
like this is pointless. Like it's no longer a worthwhile
And you can
endeavor.
even be rewarded for that mind frame of moving on. Look at the Minnesota Vikings. They moved on from Kirk Cousins,
Yeah.
drafted JJ McCarthy, didn't know kind of what he was going to be. He wasn't, of course, the first choice at quarterback coming out of this quarterback pool, but Sam Darnold taking them to where tonight when they play, they could be the first seed in the NFC. So moving on is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Just try, because what you tried before is not working right now. It's not working. It hasn't worked. You don't have Drew Brees in the building anymore. You don't have stalwarts at different positions that can keep you in there for a good amount of time. You have people that are on the back half that are, lining up where that final destination is going to be, whether they retire or decide to explore other options. And I think it's I think it's irresponsible if you continue on that road of, okay, we can do it again. Let's try it again, because everybody around you is going to get better in some type of way, and you're not going to be able to keep up. And you continue to try to hold on to things. You haven't held on to the right things when you should have. Trey Hendrickson, you saw last night in Cincinnati, definitely doing his thing. Even in a certain sense, Zach Bond, not really, because that might have been more of a solo effort, and DA just not putting them in the right positions to be successful, but he's in Philadelphia right now doing it. Like, stop making other teams better by getting the players and having them and then giving them away for cheap. And now the other team's like, well, I got this guy for cheap for X amount of years. He's already as veteran experience. Just move on. Just move on. That's how I feel personally. But
yeah, no, it's definitely time to start over. And we'll start over right after this quick break from our sponsors.
Ochsner Hospital for Orthopedics and Sports Medicine on Clearview Parkway is celebrating 5 years of exceptional achievements. The hospital's integrated team has successfully performed over 20,000 surgeries using the latest in cutting-edge technology. With nationally recognized services and impactful partnerships, they continue to lead the advancement of orthopedic and sports medicine care in our region.
Rouse's Markets is voted best grocery store in New Orleans, best grocery store in Baton Rouge, Mississippi, Gulf Coast, Thibodaux, Houma, Hammond, Lake Charles, Mobile, year after year. Thank you for choosing us best grocery store on the Gulf Coast. Number one. Thank you.
Thank you.
The number one grocery store
In Mississippi, Alabama,
Louisiana. 1 million customers a week can't be wrong. Welcome to Rouse's.
The NewOrleans.Football show is proudly presented by PJ's Coffee. PJ's Coffee has some of the best drinks that you can find. They have locations all over the city. They have pastries and everything else you need to get your day started. So go check them out. NewOrleans.Football is proudly sponsored by Urban South Brewery, the makers of Paradise Park Lager. I love supporting local breweries, and when looking for a refreshing, easy drinking beer, I always recommend Paradise Park. In fact, I think it might be the best game day beer out there. If you want something a little lighter, try Paradise Light. It's everything I love about Paradise Park with just 96 calories and 2.6 carbs. And if you're looking for a family-friendly place to watch the game, I'd recommend Urban South's Tap Room in the Lower Garden District. They've got 15 TVs, 30 unique beers on tap, and mouth-watering urban smash burgers. The whole family will want to make Urban South their new living room, because at Urban South, they take laid back seriously. Looking for the best insurance coverage at the lowest price? Look no further than Chabert Insurance, the Earhart Agency. They are a local independent insurance agency right here in New Orleans, specializing in home, flood, and auto insurance. At Chabert Insurance, the Earhart Agency, their dedicated team will shop every available carrier in the market, ensuring you get the most comprehensive coverage at the lowest possible price. Why settle for less when you can have the best? Trust Chabert Insurance, the Earhart Agency, to protect what matters most to you. I do. I've been a client of theirs since 2021. Call them today at 504-326-6526 or visit them online at Protected by Chabert. That's 504-326-6526. Chabert Insurance, the Earhart Agency, your local insurance experts. Hardhide Ponchatoula Strawberry Whiskey is an 86 proof blend of aged wheat bourbon, American light whiskey, and fresh Ponchatoula strawberries. Blended in New Orleans, it is not for the thin-skinned. Look for it in your favorite stores, bars, and restaurants. NewOrleans.Football is proud to be sponsored by Firehouse Subs. Make sure you check out their location on Veterans Boulevard. Attention Saints fans, don't let pests and termites invade your home field. Trust the team at Red Pest Solutions to tackle those unwelcome visitors. Call the Red Man today for unbeatable pest and termite control. Score peace with no pest. Visit redpest.com, REDDPEST.com.
welcome back to the Ochsner Andrews Sports Institute podcast studio, the OG studio. That's where we're at today.
The garage.
That's right. That's right. If you missed it, we did a whole live stream during the game. I mean, that experience was it was amazing. It was a special place to be in a really, really dark time for the team.
Yeah.
So, going forward, we'll incorporate that a little bit more. Shout out to everybody who's in there, active in the chat. It's a really good community environment. Be sure you sign up to NewOrleans.Football, because that same similar community environment happens almost in every article. You can post your comments in there, go in and respond, and just start a dialogue across the board. But let's get on a positive note of going back to the game against Tampa Bay, loss against Tampa Bay, of who's the hard hot player of the game. And that player is Juwan Johnson. He did good today. He did good today. He stepped up. It was like kind of, I don't know kind of what Juwan is going to be. Will he get paid? He's going to be a free agent going into the next season. But today he has 6 receptions for 80 yards. So Juwan Johnson is our player of the game.
Yeah, I mean, there weren't a lot of options. He had the one kind of like drop, sort of, but like it was a tough pass in a tight window. Hit him in the hands a little bit, but it was tough to see it coming in. But yeah, he played well, and I think he really kind of stepped it up the last couple of weeks. Again, a couple drops last week, but was making plays. That kind of is who he is at this point. I don't think you can kind of expect him to be like a top 5 tight end. Like the good comes with the bad, and the bad comes with the good, and that's just kind of the package that he brings to the table. But he's made some plays and he stepped up, and I think he finished the season kind of strong. I would be willing to bring him back on the team. I think at this point, a few weeks ago, I don't know. I was probably leaning more towards like a hard no, but like I'd be okay with bringing him back at this point. But I think you do need to add to that position. That position needs to be better. I think you need another player. If Spencer Rattler is your quarterback and the way he likes to kind of attack over the middle, up the seams, go to his tight ends a lot, I think you need to make a real investment in that position one way or another to support him if that's the direction you're going with it. But he played well. He played well and made some plays. His athleticism's been shown off a little bit. So yeah, I mean, I'm with it. Is him being the pick for the player of the game.
An investment enough to go get that, per se, tight end from Penn State. Like that's a high dollar investment right there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I go like a top 10 pick or anything on tight end. If there was one worthy, I would. Like Brock Bowers, I absolutely would.
Yeah.
But I think a great tight end kind of fundamentally changes your whole entire offense. Like it really, like every team that has like a great tight end, like they're really hard to defend because those guys are matchup nightmares. They really are kind of the chess pieces on your board. And if you could find a way to bring someone in that can kind of change your complexion there, so to speak, I would absolutely be in favor of that.
And you really don't know because, oh man, it was just so like sad to see that Foster ended the season going down on a meaningless play. He was taken off in an air cast and on the cart. So who knows what his offseason is going to look like. Dallin Holker, he's shown a little bit, but I don't know if he's in there putting his face in a down block. You know what I mean? Size wise, I don't know if he's at that point yet. So it gets to a point where with Juwan, you kind of, you know what you're getting, to a certain extent. So you kind of might have to ride with him. But I definitely think that he was a source of consistency in an inconsistent season. And when I say consistency, yeah, he had some drops. But compared to even being available to be on the field, even being someone to go out there and be a target for Rattler, Painter, and Carr, he's been a guy to do that. The tight end position as a whole, him and Foster both have been able to do that. Go in and just be, hey, I know you don't know any of the guys in the receiving corps. I know you don't know barely like who's back there playing running back because Alvin might play, he might not play. You don't know what's going on with Kendre Miller. He's definitely on the might or might not play kind of range. Jamal, he'll be back there, but we'll get into that in the next segment. But yeah, the tight ends have been a consistent source of production.
Yeah, they have. They really stepped up with him going in there. So I think it's important to go try to get better at that position this offseason.
Yeah, well, that'll take us into a game day favorite, 3 up, 3 down. We're gonna do it a little different this week. Instead of just after the game, we're gonna go 3 up, 3 down for the season total. So I'm gonna let you kick it off with your first up of the season.
I think this is going to be slightly controversial because the Carrites will be very upset about it, and one of them called me a Spencer Rattler glazer like the other day, which is absolutely outrageous. Like I think I criticize him a lot because I wrote an article that said he has a lot of things to improve on, but he did some great things in the last game.
Right.
Stand on that, and I think it's the same thing this week. Has a lot to improve on, did some great things within it. But I think Spencer's up for the season. I think that he put himself in a position where you can viably think about playing him as your quarterback going forward for a season, then just kind of evaluate it. I don't think he earned the right is strong, but yeah, I think he's earned the look.
Yeah.
I don't want to say earned the look because like I don't know that like if you're trying to win 12 games next year, like it's like okay, you go to him and get rid of Carr. But I think with where they're at, I think that he has put himself in a position to be justifiably considered, is how I would put it, is the starting quarterback of this team. And I mean, I think that's a big jump for a young quarterback. He's the best young quarterback they've brought in here in
a while,
decades.
Yeah. And I think with him, like his first half today, just saying, "Hey, you have this makeshift offensive line out here, and certain pieces aren't here." Alvin wasn't there, Chris Olave wasn't there, Rashid Shaheed wasn't there, and still be able to go out there and do that. Now, to beat the Glazing allegations,
let's move off that.
No, for sure. But he hasn't completed a game.
Yeah.
In terms of like having a complete game, he hasn't been able to do that. So I think that is something that definitely needs to be improved. But I mean, with the situation, look, you're the 5th round pick. You're coming in. You're going to be in a battle for the backup quarterback, not even for the starting position, in a battle to be a backup. They're saying, oh, well, these days he'll get reps. These days Hannah will get reps. These days he'll get reps. These days Hannah will get reps all throughout the offseason. And then you go into the season. Now you're the emergency third. Then all of a sudden the starting quarterback is hurt. Hey, buddy, you're starting on Sunday.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people are hurt. So, yeah, I think for what it's worth, he came in and of course you could have seen better, but I don't know how much better he could have been.
He has no support. I mean, there's no offensive, like, the best offensive linemen are out. There's no receivers. There's no running game. So, I mean, degree of difficulty is terrible. But if he were to do this thing and start 17 games next year and he gives you 17 good halves and 17 halves, like he has you win 2 or 3 games the whole year. So, like, I'm not saying that he's going to elevate him all the way up, but like if he were to even that out and get some help.
We're gonna get more into him later into the show, but for an up for me, I have to go Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
I think with the way that this offensive staff allowed him to be him and just show out 50 yards away from 1,000 yards rushing, career high, like I think you missed him so much when he wasn't in, but then him being in, like over the summer, just taking into consideration the entire season, it was a spot of, well, what's gonna happen? Training camp is here. He comes in, he talks like, I'm not talking contract talk right now, but I mean, y'all see kind of what I'm worth. Didn't know how it was setting up when he left in the middle of OTAs.
Yeah.
You just didn't know how things were going to end up. Kendra was poised to do something, went out the first day of training camp after coming in behind Jamal and everything like that. So him coming in and getting paid halfway during the season, I mean, it really showed that, all right, you might be almost 30, but you are very much still a necessary piece on this team to be successful. And I think it'd be hard to just say that Alvin is not on the list of ups for the entire season.
I agree. I'd have Kool-Aid as an up today. I don't know about for the whole season. I'll get Eric McCoy.
Yeah.
The injury's, a down, but like absence makes the heart grow fonder type theory. Exactly. He's an up for me. But yeah, I don't really have anyone else I'm really like gonna stand on the table for. I think I'm out on the ups.
I have one more. Foster Moreau.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm up on him. I'm up on him as a leader.
Yeah.
I'm up on him as a player and just as like a person. You know what I mean? Because everything that he went through last season and still going out and doing this thing. Then you come into this season when it was getting chippy in camp, who was talking mad stuff against was that Olave and the Debo or him and the D? It was one day Foster was out there and he was
the only one battling on
offense. Yeah. It just was
no, that's I'm wrong because like I forgot that Chris Olave had like his little he had like the scrappy arc.
Yeah.
Like he had a little bad guy arc.
Villain arc. Yeah. Nah, but I definitely think that Foster deserves to be on this up list. Of course, more games you would probably put Chris on this list. More games. I mean, shucks. More games you would have put Rashid on this list because he was the guy that was catching the bomb passes from Derek Carr. More games you probably put Derek Carr on this list, but the way the situation just I mean, you can't get mad at the way the dice get rolled. That's the fun part about dice. You never know
Yeah.
how they're gonna shake out. So yeah, that's gonna do it kind of for the up list. Jawan, he could.
He's up. I mean, he's up. We hit him in
Yeah.
the player of the game thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. As you all noticed, we said no defensive players in the up.
Penning's a weird little up, like not like a up, but he's an up for himself.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And if in that same kind of category, Groupie should be in there too, because he's became more consistent.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I kind of throw him in there. But going into the downs, no defensive players in the ups. Maybe you could have put DeMario in up if you had to put a defensive player in up. Maybe you could have put Brazilian up if you had to put a defensive player in up. But overall, I mean, it was a point in period in the season where the boys looked like they just didn't want to or couldn't tackle. So I don't know if that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. They all feel kind of down to me. Like so many guys feel down. Like Caesar kind of feels like a down to me. Like you were counting on him to maybe be like a leader, and he is a leader, I think, but like one of the better solid offensive linemen, and I think that's been spotty the whole entire year. Uli Udo was rough
Sure.
the whole entire time. Every time he got into a game, that's kind of feels like unfair to him to put him on there though. Chase Young kind of feels like a relative down to me based on you're kind of hoping he'd get like 7, 8, so like repeat his sack total, and he had a lot of almost plays, but he didn't.
But he was on the field.
Yeah, but like I just don't think he gave you. I don't think he launched himself out of here or anything like that. And I think that was kind of the hope, is that you'd catch him, you get him, he'd be motivated, he gets the neck surgery,
Yeah.
he becomes like your far and away best defensive end. And I don't know that he did that. I don't know that he's gonna get like a big contract anywhere either. So Alante was an up on the inside and like shaky on the outside.
It's hard to grade him.
I think your whole entire remaining secondary is kind of a down. Like you were hoping they would be the strength of the team, and I don't think they were. So the secondary as a whole, man, the organization as a whole, like, like it's just it's hard to just like. I mean, you could name everybody. You could name everybody on the team. I think is a damn near everybody on the team is a down.
Wait, we didn't put Rizzy as a up. He was put in a weird situation where
he did okay. He did okay.
He did do okay.
He did okay. Yeah, he navigated a tough situation to the best. I'm not saying like give him the head coaching job or anything, but like I think he navigated a difficult situation with a extremely injured roster and didn't allow the wheels to come off on something that he might even put the wheels back on a little bit on a something that felt completely rudderless. So yeah, Rizzy's an up.
Right, you say navigation, rudderless, these maritime terms, and it's because this organization kind of does feel like they don't have a captain. They're ship without a captain.
Yeah.
Now I know they're in the process of finding that person in terms of the head coach, but they can't even fall back on the quarterback and say, "Oh well, this guy has two hands on the wheel and he's making it happen," because you don't know what's going to happen with Carr.
Yeah.
So it's just it's a rudderless situation, and those questions, I would say sooner than later, are going to get figured out in the grand scheme of the offseason. Yes, sooner than later, but it's going to be like another 2 to 3 months, and that's going to just be a process of, golly, man, why is this taking so long? But you have to let it play out how it plays out, and I don't know. Let's see.
It's a fair comment here from Nick Nelson. Hate to say it, Rattler has one stat that can't be overlooked: 0-6, and no doubt about it.
That's
I mean,
yes.
that's one that you cannot overlook. I mean, that's a tough record for him. They didn't win a game without Derek Carr the whole year.
They didn't.
They didn't. So, I think there's a lot more than just the quarterback on that, but he hasn't played a complete game, and until you play a complete game, I mean, you're not part of that overall solution. So yeah, no doubt. I think that's a fair criticism.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know kind of where else to even go, because this team doesn't know where to go right now, in all honesty. So we'll pick it up after this break.
Total Maintenance is one of the largest locally owned home and commercial service providers in South Louisiana and serve the greater New Orleans and Baton Rouge markets. They have a membership program that gets you 2 tune-up visits for AC and heating, as well as club membership discounts of 15% on all repairs, half off of all diagnostic charges, and 3-year warranties on most repairs for membership clients. This is usually priced at the low price of $24.95 a month per system, but if you tell Total Maintenance that you found them through NOF, they'll lower the price to $20.95 per month per system for as long as you keep the membership active. Services include AC and heating service and replacement, electrical service, plumbing service, as well as generator service and installation. They are Total Maintenance. Find them at tm-ac.com or give them a call at 504-841-3300, or if you're in the Baton Rouge area, 225-480-1000. Martin's is your go-to destination for everything merry and bright this holiday season. From an unmatched selection of bourbon, whiskeys, and wines to gourmet food, gift baskets, and catering, Martin's has all your holiday needs covered. Family owned and operated since 1946, Martin's knows the perfect ways to celebrate this season with loved ones. Visit them in Metairie, New Orleans, or Baton Rouge, or shop online for the ultimate convenience. Whether you're raising a glass or looking for the perfect holiday gift, make it an easy and cheerful holiday with Martin's.
Saints score! Score big with Saints Score. Win up to $100,000. Enter the second chance drawings for cool Saints prize packages. Play Saints Score scratch-offs from the lottery.
Whether you are a local New Orleanian or a fan in town for the game, get your pre- and post-game fired up at Aaron Rose. Local chaos and local love for the black and gold. Wake up and live with daily drink specials, mimosas, screwdrivers, Bloody Marys, and hot or frozen Irish coffees, all just $3 or $4 between 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Aaron Rose, half a block from Bourbon Street in the French Quarter, 811 Conti Street.
Here at the Queen Casino, indulgence knows no bounds. Prepare your taste buds for an extraordinary culinary journey. Start your day at Capital Coffee. Craving something different? Three Walks Noodle Bar offers a tantalizing selection of Asian delights. At 1717 Kitchen and Cocktails, savor American cuisine with a twist. Or ascend to the loft for an elevated experience. Enjoy artesian grazing boards and exquisite craft cocktails. Join us at the Queen Casino. Your royal adventure awaits.
Welcome back to the Oshner Andrews Sports Medicine Institute podcast studio here in the OG studio, in the garage, in the shed, whatever you want to call it. This is where the magic started and continues to happen. We still got our place on vets, but this is where we are today. Let's get into the Martin Wine and Spirits question of the day. Martin's is home to a wide selection of hand-picked barrel select bourbon, whiskeys, and more. Martin's, so much more than just wine. Today's question is, how many games could Spencer Rattler win with a fully healthy offense?
I think he more than zero.
Of course,
Yeah.
more than zero.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's 0-6 right now, but yeah, as we just said in that last thing, but yeah, I think they could probably. What would we just do the record at? 5, 6, 7 wins, something like that. I mean, fully healthy offense whole entire year. Let's say a little bit of an upgrade at a couple of the skill positions. Shore up that offensive line a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, I don't see any reason that they would be like completely uncompetitive. But he has to figure out how to complete a game. I think there's some upside there, but I don't think it's, you say, oh, well, they're going to be in the playoffs next year. Like, you got to
saying that.
Yeah. I mean, there is if he were the starting quarterback for the season, there's more to prove than not prove. You know what I mean? There's more questions than answers at this point, but there is something there. There is something there that, at times he has you believe in, like, oh my God, like he had Brady a couple times, like, oh my God. Yeah. I mean, he can throw the football. Like, he does some really incredible stuff at times, but there's a consistency element that I think absolutely is that would be demanded of him to prove. I mean, I think there's a lot there that he has to prove.
I'm going to say an answer and then build myself a parachute right after that. I'm going to say that 5 to 6 is kind of range, but the defense has to play. If the defense, what defense is going out there? A defense that can tackle, a defense that can't tackle. If it's a defense that can tackle, I think that number can go up to 7. But if the defense can't tackle, yeah, he's going to be on the field all the time. And it's going to be hard to play complete games if football is the ultimate team sport, because if you're not handling your business across the board, it's going to expose the game in some form or fashion. So definitely, I do feel like he can win about 5 to 6-ish games if he had a completely healthy offense. But just kind of continuing the conversation we were having earlier about Rattler, And it doesn't need to come off as, oh, he's the answer, because that's not all the way proven yet. But he has shown things where it's like,
yeah, this is where
why
they're
not?
This is where they're at. That's where they're at. Is why not lean into it? Just do it.
Yeah.
Like that's where it's at this point. Like with the upside and the other thing. Like I'm just ready to move on from
Yeah.
the last plan, and it was a valiant plan. You know, there's thought process behind it. I don't, going back to the beginning of it in hindsight, like obviously there's a lot to criticize, and I've said before that I don't think they went. I don't think they went far enough in on that path. Like if Derek's your quarterback, and I just said this, so I'm not going to repeat it all.
Yeah,
Like you got to
yeah,
put
yeah.
more on him. But yeah, I mean, I'm willing. Like it's just time to give up on it. To me, like I'm just ready for the other exit. But like I would understand, and there's logic. There is a very sound, logical argument to be made for. Well, no, we're just going to keep him here. We owe him all this money. Can't
Right.
really press a jag. Could still be competitive. And I wouldn't think that somebody is insane for saying that. I would just simply say, I understand, but I disagree, and I would do this. And
Right.
like that would be it. Like it wouldn't be like, oh my God, how can they do this? This is so dumb. Like maybe a little bit, but like I like someone could make the argument, and it's not a hard argument to make, to be like, this is why, and this is okay, I get it. Like I would understand, but
Right.
I personally would just do something different. And it's not really about Derek, it's just about where the team's at.
No, I mean, like some people, they have their favorite cup at their house, cup that got that little hairline crack down the line, but just when you put some ice in it and you put some drink in it, it's still a good cup. Man, look, go get you some better cups. Go get you some new plates, new forks.
He might
Just
not
change
even
it
be
up.
a better cup. It's just a different cup.
It's just a different cup.
Mhm.
It's just a different cup. Got it.
Yeah.
That's a great comp. It's just a different cup, and it'll bring some excitement.
It could be better, but it might not be.
It might not.
It might be worse, but
a
it's just
different cup.
time. It's just time. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it for this edition of NewOrleans.Football. We appreciate y'all for sticking us. Those who were here during the live show, man, look, we appreciate y'all a lot, because that was special. This is also special. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to NewOrleans.Football to get everything Saints, because this offseason will be elite.
And for everybody that is subscribed to NOF, obviously you get these shows early. Tomorrow we hear from Rizzy. We're going to be in the locker room, and me and B will be back tomorrow, kind of breaking all that stuff down exclusively for members, doing a little stream on the site for you guys. So
Yeah.
be on the lookout for that.